Alright, so let's start off with the dark side of making music. Now, the reason why I'm interested in this video. I just got recommended it like 30 minutes before I started the stream. Well, not even 30 minutes. It was like 5 minutes before I started stream. I saw it, I clicked on it, I was like, I'm gonna watch this, and I realized, hey, this could be interesting. And the reason why I'm interested in it personally is because, well, you hear all these things, but the question is, what does this guy know? I actually have no clue who this guy is, so I don't know if he has any credibility, by the way. Oh, well, okay, I'm glad I clicked on his channel because it says, this first video is what I learned from this famous music producer. I wonder if he's
The
associated to
moral of
music.
this
Okay. But basically, from what I understand, is basically like, oh yeah, you don't get a lot of money. I don't know what he's gonna talk about if you're like as a singer or if you're like the one making songs or if, how you have to like sign to a record label and then you get like no money compared to what you could get, if you're independent. But if you're independent, it's a lot harder to like do things like make music videos, whatnot.
story is, you have to love making music. Otherwise, the music business will destroy you.
That's
The music
okay. I hate that I paused at 10 seconds, but that statement is stupid. You know why? That's true for anything. It's literally true for anything. If you don't like it, you're gonna get destroyed. Why? And that's the reason why, by the way. Oh, well, I was gonna say that was the most replayed, but the end is the most replayed, which is kind of suspicious. Why would the last 30? Okay, I'm not focusing on that.
industry is always romanticized.
It
It
is.
sounds so cool, so much fun.
Well, that's true for the entertainment industry in general. Music is in the entertainment industry. People think, like, for example, influencers, bro. Like, oh, you're a YouTuber. It's so easy. I mean, obviously, it's a lot easier than working a hard job, but you gotta do things. It's not like it's just, oh, wake up in the morning, record, play some video games, or do whatever I enjoy doing, and then post it. No, 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 no. I think a lot of people think that it's just that simple. I'm not even saying that from experience because obviously I'm not experienced the hardships. Some of these people out here who are like editing like 1 or 2 hour masterpieces for every video, like those people are crazy.
It must be incredible to make it, but there is a dark side. The dark side is one that people just don't talk about much anymore. Well, we're going to talk about it today. I run a program called Cosmic Academy. We have over 700 students, and they see this dark side once in a while, but not at the beginning. At the beginning, it's all about, let's sign that first record. Let's get our first show. Hey, I just played my first festival.
Yeah, that'd be a cool feel.
It's all
Bro,
very
seeing
new.
these people like at festivals having a crowd of like 50,000 going crazy for their song is like, that sounds horrible and great. Like, you have all these people who love what you did. At the same time, bro, if I was up there, I'd be trembling.
New. It's all very exciting. Not only that, but mostly everyone wants to be your friend. Being the hot new artist is a real thing. But eventually, you start seeing three very dark problems in the music business. Number one, the music business is run by ego. Number two,
That's
the
true.
music business is based on using. And number three, the music business is very quick to forget.
Yeah,
Start
that's
with that
true.
first dark
There's a lot of artists, who were popular, not relevant anymore. They're still releasing music.
side of the music business. It's incredibly driven by ego. There's
Yeah,
almost no business I can think of that compares to the music business in this way. Why? Well, I think it's obvious. The end goal here is to be standing on a stage with thousands and thousands of people staring at you. They're cheering your name. They've bought tickets to see you. They love your stuff. So sure, there's ego part of this. But then there's also this ego within the pecking order between the people that are in the music business and other artists. So like if artist X is bigger than artist Y, well, there's a pecking order there. Artist X will be treated better than artist Y. Artist X will decide what happens over artist Y. Very literally.
yeah, especially at a label. It's the problem. No, but oh shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't even remember.
Literally at a show, the headliner gets to dictate everything for the people opening below them. This is a true story, but I had a student play a concert once, and this particular student put out a hit song that you might know if I said it. And they were still, working their way up, and they were still technically opening for a much bigger legendary artist. And at some point, that bigger artist came in my student's dressing room in the green room, and this bigger artist said, "Hey, you know that hit song you have? You can't play it." My student
I just realized too, if you're an opening artist at like a show where everyone's going for a stupid one artist or maybe two major ones, no one's gonna care about what you're putting out. They're gonna not. They're gonna, they're gonna forget about you. It's the problem. Nah, but like, the other thing is like, uh, I don't. Never mind.
was
Not
like,
100%
"Well,
certain.
why not? You don't understand. It's our hit record." The bigger artist said, "You can't play it because I'm going to play it."
That's crazy.
And that's just how it goes. And you cannot do anything in that situation. And this ego thing, it's not just on the artist side. It's within the label ranks, within the agencies, within the managers. If someone is above you, well,
Oh yeah, now I remember what I was gonna say. Okay, so basically, a lot of people think that everything nowadays seems to be about numbers, right? Oh, this album sells this amount of numbers first week sales. Oh, this person has more monthly listeners on Spotify than this singer, right? Like people are comparing singers to singers, whatnot. Like it's weird because just because someone has more listeners doesn't mean they're automatically better, but people act like it does. It's ridiculous. A lot of times, the bigger someone is, the more like bland the music is too. That's just usually how it goes. Like, a lot of people say like for pop especially, the bigger the someone is, the more likely the music is very generic because it appeals to everyone, right? It's trying to at least, but in doing that, people get turned off by it. But that's not really relevant. The point is basically like my message is, hey, just remember, if someone has more monthly listeners than someone else, does not mean they're better. That being said, there's an exception, and I think that's The Weeknd. Bro, The Weeknd has like 120 million monthly listeners on Spotify every month, bro. He has the number one, and I'm just like, yeah, he deserves it. But also, it's like, that's crazy. 120 million monthly listeners. I have no clue how monthly listeners are calculated. Let me research that right now, actually. How are monthly listeners? I can't spell, that's okay. Okay. By counting the total number of unique users who've played an artist's music at least once. Oh, really? Hmm. Okay, see, there's the problem. Monthly listeners are a key metric for artists to gauge their popularity. While that's true somewhat, there's a lot of big artists I've seen who are known for being really good who have less than 10 million monthly listeners. Which, by the way, having like 8 million, 5 million, or even just a million is still crazy. But I'm just saying, like, you know, the problem is at least for me, it's like if I see someone with less than 10 million or even less than 20 million, I'm thinking, wow, they're not good. Even though that's not even true, but it's like the problem. It's the number game, bro. Number game. And I can't even imagine being an artist and comparing yourself to every single other artist in your area and be thinking, oh man, I'm not good as them. I gotta change. Like that's nope, nope, nope.
they know they can help you, and they know that they can hurt you. And that makes them feel powerful. It feeds the ego, and it's so blatantly on display. You literally are listed above, below, your numbers are bigger or smaller. And this comes out in some really sad and horrible ways. The way in which you're spoken to, the way in which people deal with you. You're almost like a lesser human being because you're in a lower slot in the order. And it's like this sick ladder where if you're at level 1,
And let's not even start about industry plants where it's literally just made to succeed from the get-go, which I think is ridiculous. So these people, these industry plants don't even have to experience all these things because they're just accepted for some reason. I don't know why this happens. They just think, oh, someone's gonna is gonna succeed. Let's push their music and put fake streams and fake numbers. to make people even more. Because the other thing is, people check these like numbers of listen, like how many times a song's been played. At least on Spotify, because it's all public. People check that stuff and go, oh. I don't know. I don't know if people actually check that and go, well, I'm gonna listen to this now. But people check it, to see if the song's relevant.
Well, then the people at level 2 might not be so great to you, but the people at level 2 get the same treatment from people at level 3. I will say this, though, to hopefully make you feel better. The people at the very, very top at level 10, the people that make it very big, they actually don't seem to have these ego problems. Look at David Guetta. We'll use him as an example.
I have no clue.
He's probably, objectively, the most successful dance music producer. At Cosmic Academy, we've been very lucky to meet with and do some business dealings with David Guetta and his team. And even though we're just some small production school, they treat us with ultimate respect and they have no ego. Even if it's a quick
like an
email
exception.
exchange, it's polite, it's thank you, we appreciate you. It's done in a way where we don't feel like, oh, this is a massive DJ who's top 10 streaming artist in the world, and we're
These top 10 streaming artists of the world. How have I never heard of them? What? So it's making house music though? I don't know I don't even know what house music is. Never mind. That's probably why.
down here. But yet at the same time, some DJ with like 5,000 Instagram followers, he'll talk to people like he's a god. It cracks me up that the biggest DJs in the world, people like David Guetta, they're so kind. And they have millions of followers and make millions of dollars. But yet some guy that gets $1,000 a show, he'll be complaining and bitching on the internet that he's on a flight and it's delayed and screw the airline. Even though he's on a flight that he didn't pay for to play a cool show and he's complaining about it. It's all ego. The second dark part of the business, the music business, is based on using. It's sad to say those words, but it's quite true. The labels are using you to sell the records.
Of course.
The venues and the festivals.
Why else would they sign you, right? If they didn't see any benefits. They're not signing you just because they want to have you on your roster. No, they're signing you to also make money off you. That's obvious. So that's why it's risky to sign to a label. It's the sad reality is a lot of people, I've heard stories of this, of like artists signing to labels and not reading their contract and not realizing they're getting screwed. It's just how it goes. And then you have to, if you try to leave, you have to make a certain amount of albums or you have to wait a certain amount of years before you can leave. And they'll force you to release stuff if you don't want to. So it's like, there's not much you could do. It's a contract. It sucks.
They're using you to sell the shows. And you might be using others for your own reasons. So many people in the business are what I call opportunists. They're just looking at each other for opportunities. The relationships aren't based on friendship, nor are they based on real relationship bonds. It's just opportunists, and they're looking to get something to get ahead. In our program, Cosmic Academy, we have this great production school. And if you finish with our classes, you enter this unbelievable community that lasts forever. My favorite thing about the community is we don't let those people in. There's no opportunists. Everyone has to buy into this concept of giving, giving, giving instead of taking. But that taking is precisely what you see a lot in the music business. And this is the stuff you hear the most stories about. Artists feeling like they're being used like some commercial product. Now look at the tragedy of Avicii. This is a guy who dealt with struggles of anxiety and social anxiety, but yet he was being booked to play 300 shows a year. Clearly,
300. Jeez, that's crazy.
He didn't want that, but he was making a lot of money for a lot of people. So he was getting used. And I want to be clear about something.
The question is, how much money did he make? Probably not a lot, as much as he should.
Obviously, there's plenty of labels and venues and festivals and folks out there that aren't looking to take advantage of you. But there are plenty who are. And even sadder, once you're not the hot thing anymore, they discard you.
Yep. The worst part is, it's hard to make a comeback, right? Because they're not giving you all the money you need to make music. You have to pay for it yourself.
Brings me to the third dark problem. The music business is very quick to forget. It's all about, what have you done for me lately? And maybe you haven't had a big signing in a while. Maybe you haven't had a big booking in a while. All those label people who you thought were your friends, all those people from the venue who used to give you hugs, they're not taking your calls anymore. This is the saddest section to me. I don't book artists anymore. That's long behind me. But when I did, I booked thousands of artists, and I'd build relationships with them. And I'd book people that I liked. I booked people that did a good job. And sure, sometimes an artist that I would book, they'd be in a lull in their career. And maybe they hadn't had a big record in a while, but I'd still book them. At that same time, I'd have plenty of colleagues of mine. They'd come to me and they'd say, Justin, why are you booking that artist? That artist isn't cool anymore. And I'd say, well, that's your opinion, but they still do a good job. And this is a true and sad part of the business. You know, you work so hard to get to a certain level, and if you don't maintain it, you're forgotten. There's those two terms.
You know, this is gonna be interesting. This is the question, okay? They say, you know, everything, right? Every like thing comes to, I don't know the saying. Never mind. It's true that everything that becomes big has to fall, right? So every artist eventually has to fall off in theory, right? So the question is, are we ever gonna see someone like Taylor Swift fall off? In the sense that she just stops, she just becomes forgotten. I don't think that's gonna happen. So I almost wonder, is it possible that there'll be artists that never fall off? Like, we actually, yeah, no, it's already kind of an answer question because people still play Michael Jackson. Yeah, he's dead, but like, but I'm talking about they're still releasing music and no one's like listening. Like, no one is actually caring at all. That to me is a fall off because you see all these some artists that fall off that just still get streams from our old hits, right? Or like the one hit wonders. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah. So I kind of know the answer.
That I think are quite sad. There's the one-hit wonder and the has-been. You hear those a lot.
The one hit wonder sucks because, bro, they made it like they make one song, they get hit, they get signed, and now what? You're cooked. They can't get anything, like nothing. They're getting nothing out of it. They're getting like no money, nothing. It's all for nothing.
Music business. Oh, that artist was big in 2012, but they're a has-been. Yeah, they're a great producer still. That hasn't changed. They're still a great DJ. And from what I can see, they're still a great person. But they're not the hot new thing anymore. So the music business will be very quick to forget. Now, if I'm making you massively depressed listening to this, I sincerely apologize. And I want to say there's a lot of amazing people in the music business. There's a lot of great folks who don't operate this way. But there is a dark side to this as well, which is why I said at the very beginning of this video, you have to love making the music. Otherwise, the music business will destroy you.
Yeah.
If you're just doing this for the money, well, at some point, that might run out. If you're doing this for the fame, the ego, the achievements, well, at some point, that might run out. You know, this business can be brutal, so you have to love making the music.
To be honest, I feel like nowadays there's not enough people who make music that have passion to get better. I feel like you look at like all the mega, well, that's not even true. That's not true at all, actually. There's still no. I just feel like a lot of the mainstream people you look at, like, just don't have. It's called like hunger, right? Like they're making music like they're broke and they're trying to make it hit. That's the type of music that's the best. But like in the mainstream, you don't see that often because they already made it, so it's easy to just, you know, sail by and make, you know, basic hits, right?
Some of those artists that I spoke about that I booked 10 years ago, I still talk to some of them. And I openly ask them, I'm like, hey, are you depressed? Are you sad that you're not getting those same bookings? You're not getting those same signings anymore? And the ones that are still happy say, no. I was never in it for that. I was in it for the music, and I still do that. And that's the mentality you need to be doing this. If you're here for any other reason, then maybe you should really think about.
Okay, so I don't know why he cut off there. And why is that the most replayed of the video? Who really know? very dark side of the music business is spending hours and hours to create a song that most likely will end up with 20 SoundCloud plays, and 99% of the label won't even hear it. Oh, ever hear, I think, but you said it's all about the music for me, that's why I still make it 6 years. It's kind of like for me making videos where it's like you put all this effort to some videos, certain videos, and they just don't, at least for me, they don't get any like views, and you're like, oh, why did I do it? Well, I did it because I enjoyed it. Enjoy doing it, right? So, I mean, it's kind of the same thing, hand in hand. Alright, yeah, I thought this was pretty nice. Most of this stuff is pretty obvious, though, in my opinion. That's because I follow this type of stuff. I watch videos kind of like this, just because it's interesting. I like I like to follow like stories of like artists when they start like having issues, whatnot, or exposing the music industry, quote unquote.